poppin', everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be talking about one of the decks that I think is incredibly underrated, but also a lot of people are coming to the same conclusion. Ancient Box is up, it's lit, it is on its way to win Baltimore Regionals. Whether it happens or not, I think a lot of people are thinking about playing this deck due to its awesome matchup spread in our Shrouded Fable metagame. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my most up-to-date list. Awesome. I've been a long time Ancient Box enjoyer, and I did have that epic game on stream at the North American International Championships. Check that out if you haven't got a chance. We're going to be covering over the gameplay, strategy, and more. If that all sounds great to you, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into this list. Ancient Box is all about getting ancient cards into your discard pile and really using the Roaring Moon's Vengeance Fletching attack. Now, that scales over time. You're doing 70 plus 10 for each card you find there, and we've kind of figured out along the way, we're not really trying to knock out the Charizards. It's a lot easier to go after the Pokemon on the bench. That's why this build has a Boss's Orders, an Iron Bundle, 3 Night Stretchers to get back that Iron Bundle and other cards, 2 Counter Catchers, and a Pal Pad for Boss's Orders or whatever else you need. On top of that, we've gone with a Walking Wake instead of Koraidon. At one point, I was thinking of playing Koraidon to get around Iron Hands EX, being able to use Ampy very much, just because Walking Wake is kind of a, it's a walking target. But I think that they'll be able to find anything the same way that we have all these Gus cards, they have Gus cards as well. So Roaring Moon's going to be our main attacker. Flutter Mane, Walking Wake, all the other ancient cards are basically meant to be discarded or to be utilized. Sometimes things like Flutter Mane can come in clutch, but reasonably, we want to just be going second, Roaring Moon, attack, attack, attack. You only really want to put down Pecharunt EX or Fezandipiti EX if you absolutely need to, and we're just trying to scale throughout the rest of the game. After playing this deck, few hundred games, maybe more than that, I really think that this is the list right now. Things can obviously change, but if I were going to Baltimore, this would be a list that I'm confident locking in. Artisan is really the card that I just added in, giving us a lot of playability on cutting off that 4th nest ball and giving us max playability with Secret Box. So a lot of really cool things that you can do with this deck. I'm going to hopefully showcase some in our video. Sure, sometimes this deck can be inconsistent because you're waiting on Professor Sata's Vitality, but the games that you get an opportunity to play, it's awesome. If you have any questions about this deck, let us know in the comments. Totally have no problem getting back to you. And of course, this list is available in the description. You can copy and paste it right into PTCG Live. And if you're missing any of the cards for this deck in real life or online, check out our sponsors at Kayfabe Cards, GameStop, the TSS website, and of course, PTCGL store for your online code cards. It's enough of me yapping on about. Let's jump into some gameplay. So we won the coin flip, and we don't want to go first. We actually want to go second, so we're able to play a supporter on our first turn. Hopefully we get something playable. And again, this is one of those starts where we're not going to have our Roaring Moon out in the active, but we will deal with, we will have Flutter Mane out there, which could, Midnight Fluttering could slow our opponent down. I mean, even if we started with Great Tusk, it's not the end of the world. You're really just using that non-roaring Pokemon as kind of a meat shield. This should be a really good matchup for us, by the way. I think Raging Bolt is actually one of the most free matchups if we ever had one. They don't have a way to draw multiple prize cards. They just have to draw one. They can knock out 1 Pokemon per turn. So as long as we don't give them a Fezandipiti, we should be good. A lot of lists are cutting their Disruption card. So we just have to scale up to doing like 210, maybe 240. And that's really all we're going to be doing. We'll have Artisan at least for a Roaring Moon. I'm trying to think about our best way to like adjust this. I think I want to go Moon, but I'm going to actually probably start off with just Explorer's Guidance, seeing what we get. It's a really, really, really rough thing. So I need a Counter Catcher at the very least, and I think I need a Pokegear. Those were none of the cards that I was hoping to get. I was actually hoping to get some other things. So let's go Nest Ball. Let's try to get back I think I need to try to draw on some other cards here. So let's use Radiant Greninja. And before I use Artisan, the reason why I'm not using Artisan first is because I want to try to draw into a Roaring Moon and having enhanced chances so that I can kind of survive later on. That's fine. Not really the end of the world. I am just going to go Artisan here. Artisan, search for our Roaring Moon. If our opponent knocks it out, it can be quite difficult for us to deal with. Again, really not much that I can deal with there. I'd like to... Even if we get Professor Sada's, we'll be able to get there. So you want to know what? I'm just going to pass here. Not too much else that I can do. You might be like, why am I not attaching? Well, I'd like to have a concealed cards option, and really put that forward. But that was like honestly one of the worst opportunities that I've ever had. Oh, okay, that's completely fine. Just a really bad use of like Explorer's Guidance. Not much that I could have done. They definitely should have just gone after my Roaring Moon, because now we'll be able to attack, or we should be able to attack, and we could also just Night Stretcher this card back. I'm also completely fine with this. I do have to be careful about the Night Stretchers that I have, because I only have 2 Night Stretchers left, one being in my hand and 1 Super Rod. So like, we can't run out of moons. Moons will have to draw 3 prize cards at some point. Okay, so there's our Pokestop being gone. Bolt with Vacuum is interesting, at least now, but that's okay. They'll have to discard a couple energies. Like, they could run out of resources. Also, we could win the game with Great Tusk if they just mill out. So that's fine. Do I think I'm going to attack this turn? There's a chance, and I think that that's a fair chance. Maybe not the fairest, though. It might be better for us to just send up Flutter Mane and get set up. But at the same time, I think it's better for us to go like this. If I miss, I just go for Explorer's Guidance, and it's fine. Okay, so before doing anything, I definitely just want to go Pokestop, see what we get here. We did lose the Pecharunt. Now, one thing that I'm worried about here is just going... like losing that other Roaring Moon, but that's fine. We will get another Roaring Moon here. You can see that we don't have access to the Fezandipiti. It is prized, so even if we wanted to search for it, whatever. I could go for Night Stretcher, getting back Radiant Greninja. I think that's a little bit like it's a lot to deal with, because Radiant Greninja, like, we might not have an energy at that point. So I'm just gonna go Pokegear first. I guess we have the 1 energy there. You want to know what? No matter what, we're going to need another energy anyways. So let's just go Night Stretcher. We're going to go for Radiant Greninja, and we will deal with whatever we're dealing with after we get this. This is going to improve our chances on Pokegear. Okay, so we are going to be able to get there. Let's still go Pokegear, because we could still Pokegear into the Professor Sada's. That's quite unfortunate. Do I think there's a world where I actually get an attack off? We literally have 3 in our discard pile, so we're doing 4 at 100. I'd have to get 11 more in the discard pile. I think Secret Box gets me, like, if I discard Boss, I think Boss makes the most sense here out of all that. So let's go ahead, let's do that. Let's get Professor Sada's. We do have 1 prized. Let's go ahead and grab Pokestop, which can get some more things. Let's go ahead and grab... probably just want to grab a Pokegear for the following turn, and I need to grab a tool. So there's an Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. So this should be okay. We're probably not getting our attack off. That's also fine. Let's go for Professor Sada's Vitality. Might as well draw some extra cards. Make sure I'm placing these correctly, because we gotta at least try to 2-shot this Pokemon. Because right now we're hitting for 130. I am going to go pitch. Might as well grab another Roaring Moon here. And I could have saved that in my hand for what it's worth. It doesn't really matter. I will like cost our opponent an extra energy to get a knockout. So let's just grab this Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, putting it on here. It is going to scale our damage. So we are going to hit for 150. And if they somehow miss a knockout, because they are going to have to attach and Teal Dance to get it, they are going to have to waste one more energy, and that does add up. Again, our hand's nothing special, but we should just be in a pattern where it's Professor Setas, Professor Setas, Professor Setas. And if they knock out our Radiant Greninja again, which I'm not sure why they keep on going after it, that actually just saves us not having to use Professor Setas next turn. So if you are playing against an Ancient box, sometimes it's easier to focus after, focus after 2 prize card Pokemon and focus after Pokemon like the Roaring Moon, if your opponent can attack, because now I can attack, I have another energy, I have another turn, like I can have enough attackers for the rest of the game now, just based off the way that our opponents played this out. So kind of really, like, I don't want to be like it's a huge misplay, but I think like they're valuing, like I don't even have enough, like I have 3 energies left that I could potentially pitch. Like the Radiant Greninja I could have left in my discard pile and I would have been fine, but now the fact that I put it out there and we used it as a meat shield and a buffer, if anything, it was the MVP for me to put into play. Like it worked out to be a pretty cool turn, but kind of we're playing a little bit from behind here. So there's Bellowing Thunder. They're gonna have to discard 2. That's fine. We still take our first 2 prize cards and match our opponents. This is where our prizes per turn scale. Like our opponent's taking, right now they've played this, they went first, so they've taken 3 turns of Pokemon. They're drawing a 0.66 prize cards per turn. This is our 3rd turn. We are drawing we're also drawing the same. We scale up every turn after this. Okay, so we have 2 Professor Setas, 1 in every 10 cards. I'm just gonna go for Pokestop because I think that's the safer pick. Of course we had to get a Professor Setas in there. So we only have 1 left when it comes to Professor Setas. Is there a chance that we're gonna get it? I think we could get it. Sick, that worked out great. Let's just go for Professor Setas, making sure we have the energy onto our other Roaring Moon. I'm fine if we have another energy for what it's worth. I am going to go for Ultra Ball, just clearing these out of my hand. You always want to clear clutter out of your hand if possible. I don't see an issue to put down Iron Bundle, just in case our opponent puts something up active that we don't want to deal with. And again, I might want to have more fodder in my hand. So we're going Vengeance Fletching. This is going to get the knockout. We take our first 2 prize cards, and our opponent's now at 1 prize card per turn. At this rate, we are likely going to be at 2 prize cards per turn. And between Counter Catcher, Superior Energy Retrieval, we should be able to overwhelm our opponent and win the game in the next 2 turns. And if our opponent decides to knock out like a Flutter Mane for whatever reason, then we just attack and bring up the Teal Mask Ogerpon. Like, we have enough resources to make this happen. I actually don't even think we need a Professor Setas to win this game for the rest of the game. Worst case scenario that happens here is our opponent disrupts our hand and we can't find an energy. Considering we still have 2 of our energies left in our 12 cards, I think we have a really good chance of drawing into it. Or we have Superior Energy Retrieval if they do not disrupt our hands. We do gotta watch out. We did discard our boss. I'd like to find Pal Pad for boss just to have secured game on board. But right now, this should be pretty easy gameplay for us. Cool. We're just really waiting for our opponent to use Bellowing Thunder. They can't even get a knockout with Sandy Shock, so not really anything. Oh, they do play the Iono. It feels like their list might be like an NAIC list, or something around that era where they still had an Iono or they still had a Judge. Okay, they are gonna Pal Pad back in the Iono, so we got to be careful about that. Probably going to hit said Iono. And this is where things could get a little bit spooky for us, like I said. But we do have a really good chance of just drawing into a dark energy. Math doesn't lie. So they knock us out. That's completely fine. We want to make sure that we're always checking how many cards we're doing. How many ancient cards we're doing. I think we're doing 210 right now, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll just wait to see, because it's way easier on like PTCG Live. You can't adjust your, like, there's no ancient counter, there's no nothing. We can send this up and we'll see exactly how it ends up turning out. I just want to see how much we're doing right now. Yeah, 210. So we have to, I think what our best play is here is to go Earthen Vessel, pitching away this. This is going to bring us to 230. You can see the cards that we have left in our deck. I think almost every single one of these, we'd have to get quite unlucky not to find some pieces here. So let's go for Ultra Ball. We're going to use, sorry, not Ultra Ball. We're going to go for Pokestop, and we're trying to discard one more ancient card. So we did discard our other ancient card, and if we look back into our deck, like, we could put back in Rad Ninja, and search it out and have a way to draw some cards. So I think, like, before doing anything, I am just gonna go Super Rod, getting back this. It's not gonna affect our ancient count for what it's worth, everyone. Let's go ahead, let's grab this Nest Ball, search out Radiant Greninja, and we can still continue to draw on, recovering from this Iono kind of beautifully. So let's go Concealed Cards. We still have an energy to attach for our turn, so we should be fine there. I want to keep cards like Pokegear in our deck. And you can see 240, 240. If I really had to, I would go for the Explorer's Guidance, because we have a very small deck. But we have a really good chance of drawing into our Professor Setas. I'd like to have that. So let's go 240. And again, since our opponent knocked out that Radiant Greninja, instead of knocking out the Roaring Moon, you can see we just have enough Roaring Moons to win the game. So we're going to draw our prize cards. There's our Professor Setas. There's our Palpad. And as long as we don't get Iono'd again, and typically they play one Iono, one Palpad, I'm assuming they're just going to set up one more Roaring Moon EX. Maybe they'll attack with Teal Mask Ogerpon because of weakness. They can get a knockout. Literally, we just have to attach an energy and win the game. And we have game in hand right now, which is fantastic. They don't have a single prize card Pokemon that can score a knockout. I mean, I guess they can get the knockout with a Sandy Shock. Sandy Shocks into Flutter Mane would actually be their best choice, but they have 3 prize cards left yet. Like, that's really how bad this matchup is. They have to attack. I could pass. They have to attack, and then I have to win the game. So I have to win the game in one of the next 2 turns in order to win this. So even if they do attack with Sandy Shocks, I can knock out Sandy Shocks and still just get it back and put myself in the best position. So we are, we're all good. It looks like the way that they're going through this is just going to be attacking with Teal Dance, hoping that we don't have it for the next few turns. Really should have focused on knocking out our Roaring Moons, but I don't know. I think it's pretty easy here. It's a slam dunk. So they do 360. That's awesome. That's going to bring us up to 25. And, like, we could have scaled this however we want on our last turn, but we're just going to go ahead and we're going to go for Professor Setas. We'll grab the 1 energy there. Done. And we'll attack with Vengeance Fletching to win the game, hitting for 260. So we take those. Pretty free matchup entirely, since our opponent really can't scale. You'd have to have a really rough start in order to lose this matchup. But we take those. Raging Bolt's a large part of the metagame, making Ancient Box quite a good choice for Baltimore Regionals. As you can see, Ancient Box can be incredibly fierce. That was a game that I don't even feel like I had a great start in, and we were able to put ourselves in a situation where our opponent could not win. You sometimes just are able to scale your deck to getting exactly what you need through proper deck thinning, sequencing, etc., etc. and that's with Fezandipiti prize, a Professor Sada's prize, and a Palpad prize. I really think this deck has what it takes to win a major event. Baltimore might just end up being that event. So if you haven't got a chance to try it out, check out this list. Again, it's available in the description. And if you're looking for anything, I really like Ultimate Guard products to sleeve my decks in and keep them protected in the sidewinders. I have my deck from Worlds 2023 in Japan. I keep this on my desk. One of my favorite items that I own. It's an all Japanese Tina deck that I brought to Worlds. So really one of those decks that it's kept it protected. Like, these are sleeves that I've had for like 2 years now. I guess maybe a year now. But like, this is played from Worlds, right? It's fantastic. So check out some of the Ultimate Guard products. I'm a huge believer in them. Maybe you'll be too. I know that everyone has their own personal preferences when it comes to sleeves. As for me, I got a lot of content to create. I think going forward, I'm probably going to start focusing on some Stellar Crown content. We've covered pretty much all of the main decks here on the channel in the Shrouded Fable format. A lot of players are getting ready for Dortmund and Joinville and Lima that are happening basically late September, early October. So if you're interested in any of that, stay tuned for our buy list / set review, some early deck profiles, and more. Probably going to have some gameplay between some Shuffle Squad members. Overall, some really cool content, but right now I got to get back to my normal, and that's really just waiting out my wife giving birth. So I do record these videos in advance. There is a world where I'm just like, I'm saying I'm waiting it out, and you might be seeing it happening live on X, not the whole process. Don't worry, that would be icky. Not icky. You know what I'm saying. But it's one of those things where I really, we're just going to be recording some content. Going through September is going to be a great month for me. Really excited to share some great news with all y'all soon. I'll catch up with all y'all later. Peace out and have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.